Are we on? Hi. I think so. How is everyone this morning? Happy Wellness Wednesday. I think I've said it before. Wednesdays are my favorite day of the week because it's kind of a pause in between, scrambling to get ready for Monday, Tuesday. Oh my goodness, like Mondays and Tuesdays are always so busy. And I purposefully set aside Wednesdays, not only so I can be here with you, but also because you need to regroup, and they call it kind of hump day. And it's like, actually, this is like, if you break up your week into like two bits, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, however you break it up. Wednesday is a nice day to kind of get over stuff because you got to kind of catch up from whatever happened Monday and Tuesday. And I also like to prep up for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and make sure that I got a game plan and I'm ready to go for whatever activities or requirements or things I want to do are actually happening. So that's why I save Wednesdays for me. I work on Wednesdays. I run errands on Wednesdays. I do self-care on Wednesdays. I sleep in on Wednesdays. It's a mixed bag. Whatever is the thing I need to get done or the need I need to take care of, I kind of focus Wednesdays for that. And that means I have to say no to a lot of other things like scheduling with clients on Wednesdays. I try not to do that. I try not to run errands on Wednesdays, but sometimes, like this afternoon, it's just something I have to go and take care of a few things, and that's just life. But I give myself a little room to breathe so I can regroup and check in. And I hope you are doing that as well. So grab a little cup of tea and come on in. And I so miss having tea with all of you when you'd come into my office. When people were coming to people's offices, I think those days are definitely coming back. But I miss pouring everybody a cup of tea and chit-chatting about what's going on with you. I'm always so fascinated by just what's happening in everyone's life and how everyone approaches things or deals with things or their aha moments or when they see that they've made progress. It's just so amazing. So I hope you're well wherever you are, and I thank you for joining me on Wellness Wednesday. Today, we are going to talk about how to create 90 days of delicious and nutritious meals. And while you all settle in, maybe you want to grab something to take some notes. I'm just going to make sure that, yeah, here we go. Everything's looking good. I'm always paranoid that it's going to mess itself up or I'm going to mess up the live stream, but whatever, who cares, right? You keep on going and seems to be working good. So thanks for coming on in. As always, if you have questions or something like that, I'm here, message me. You know where I'm at. And let's get started with, I have to put my tea down so I can do stuff here, act like I'm on top of things, right? Let me get this set up for you. And, are you checking in with yourself? How are you doing on sleep? How are you doing on your eating habits? How are you doing on drinking water? What's your exercise been looking like this week? All of those things are super important, super important. And I'm still messing stuff up here. Not really. We'll get it. I can't talk and do all of this at the same time. It's just not quite as easy as I'd like it to be. All right, we're rolling. 90 days of delicious and nutritious. So when you're checking in with yourself, I also want you to be looking at what am I doing, not just for the next 3 days, that's a good small chunk, but what am I doing for the next 3 months? The next 3 months. And I know for the last year, I think we've all been kind of just cautiously moving forward and not, making plans, but like we can always be working on, and this is especially what we need to be doing now, our inner health and ourselves, rather than all of the busy world that has been required of us out there. It's time to pull things in and regroup, and hopefully we can refocus now and actually start looking ahead and being like, okay, so springtime, that's 90 days, right? 3 months. March to April, April to May, May to June, technically on the calendar, whatever the weather's saying. Outdoors is paints its own story, but technically on the calendar, that's where we mark spring. And it is a good time to revamp and to change up a few things and to let go of some winter habits, perhaps. Think about where you would be in 3 months if you really focused on certain areas of your life and really, made it happen, gave it your all. What would happen? Let me ask it this way. What would happen if you didn't change something, improve something? So taking that into consideration, let's get going with my 90-day meal plan. I know you're like, that is way too long. I could never plan that up. It's fine. I would like to invite you to be here now with me, with yourself. Take some nice deep breaths. Are any of you observing my prisms? My prism, there's a prism light back here. They're kind of moving around. There's some, I have my office window here full of prisms. And so that's a nice invitation to be present. Bring all of your energy right here into this moment, into this body. Get out of your head, turn off that phone, settle down. Give yourself permission to focus on you for the next 20 to 30 minutes. And then give yourself permission to return to this place every time you feel like this girl. Whenever the post-its are a little too much, return to the present moment and focus on something that is, lovely for just a moment. And then make yourself a cup of tea. I was talking a couple weeks ago about how a cup of tea is one of the best ways to really bring yourself into the present moment if you allow it, if you practice with it, because you have to, you can make a whole ritual out of it. Warming up the tea in the kettle, getting out your favorite mug. This is my favorite mug for tea. No coffee goes in this mug. I have other coffee mugs, but this is my tea mug. The stirring in of some honey or milk or however you take your tea, just all of it, and then holding it and drinking it. And I love these ceramic mugs. They fit so good on your hand. Find one that fits good, like how you want to hold. And they stay warm for a while, but not forever. So you have to sit with that hot beverage while it's hot and take it in and drink it and let it warm you or whatever it is. And if you wait too long, it's gone. And so that's a really good, mindful present moment ritual. So let's get rid of those distractions and get to it. You are the main thing here. Okay, so to plan for 90 days, you're going to need to think big picture. That is hard to do sometimes because a lot of us are just swinging by the store like last minute, right? Decide on a purpose. So maybe your purpose is, I'm using weight loss kind of as a purpose here, although this is not something that I obsess about or that should be your only goal is I'm going to lose weight. That's not really a goal. That is maybe something that you need to take care of so that you can go and do the summer adventure activity. So something that I need to prepare for is more whitewater rafting and more hiking in on, hiking our equipment in and stuff. If we're doing a pack trip or something like that, that's where I need to, focus. And so some of the things that I might need to do are some exercises and things, but this week I'm focusing on food. So if you needed to get in shape or lose weight or whatever. And I'm making it specific with losing like 20 pounds, just so we can like gauge how much work it kind of takes to actually lose 20 pounds. The weight loss industry makes it seem really easy and like it's something that, just going to drop 40. And I saw someone the other day, I'm going to drop 100, she said. And I'm just like, well, that's quite the goal, isn't it? So speaking of a goal, you need to set a SMART goal. So that means you need to SMART here. I have that right here for you, right? There it is. Set a SMART goal. It's specific, meaning it's got numbers. It's got a real, it's not just going to lose weight. That's not specific. You need something on it that is M, measurable, A, achievable. Dropping 100 pounds in a year, maybe it would be great for her health if she could actually do that. Although, is that possible for most people? You got to make your goal achievable. That doesn't mean you make it easy. That doesn't mean that you slack off, but it's got to be achievable. Relevant. Is it relevant to your goal? Your goal is bigger than getting in shape. Why are you doing it? Why are you getting in shape? Why are you going to eat better? Why are you going to want to lose some weight? Or what's the real reason for it? The summer adventure activity, if you're trying to keep up with, people who really go out on adventures, you're going to have to be in shape. And maybe your summer adventure activity is a little bit different, but I think you want to look good and feel good doing it. So you have to have a purpose beyond just getting healthy. That's not enough. You would have done it by now if, you haven't been doing such, super healthy things. So setting that relevant thing is, are your efforts, the thing that you're going to do, going to get you closer to that goal, or are they somewhere off, someplace else? I love to do things like belly dancing, but I don't think that my belly dancing classes are really going to help me hike in 5 miles, packing my, gear and stuff like that for overnight adventures. Like it's fun. And yes, it gets you in shape. Yes, it's a workout, but I think I would need to focus differently. So you got to make sure it's relevant and then also timely. How long is it going to take you to do this goal? If your summer plans are coming up within 90 days, 90 days is, June, right? We're just about there. And how long is it going to take you to, in a lot of ways, retrain yourself to eat better or sleep better or exercise more or change your mindset? All of the things that you need to do in order to reach a goal. It's not just about doing one thing like doing a diet. That's only one piece. So yeah, making it like, okay, I only have this much time. So here's a reasonable goal, but I do have to set a date on it. I can't just go, well, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Well, when, so specific. Increase. So if we're doing food, increase veggies by 3 servings a day. If you could increase your veggie intake by 3 servings a day, what would that do for you? And whole grains by 2 servings a day, instead of, like refined processed carbs or something. And get your water intake up to, I put 90 ounces per day because that would be my goal. Now your water intake will be determined by your weight. So you want to have ideally half of your body weight in ounces per day. So if I weigh in around 175, I want about 90 ounces per day, just to kind of have a goal that's a little bit higher than that. And then you have to visualize yourself reaching your goal using law of attraction. Now, your things to get to your purpose might be different. And I'm looking again this week at food. You might need to do different things with your food or meal plan, but you have to get your goal in mind before you even get started on the actions, right? Everybody wants to start their diet tomorrow or some bullshit like that. You got to get your mindset around this first and actually see yourself reaching your goal. Actually see yourself not just losing the weight, see yourself being the person who prepares the fresh fruits and veggies and actually eats them, being the person who goes to the farmer market, being the person who looks up new recipes on Pinterest. By the way, float by my Pinterest accounts if you want. Like I've got some really great under Nourish Yourself ideas for food, and maybe I'll share those with you later this week. But you have to see yourself not just doing the things to eat better, but you also need to visualize yourself doing the adventure activity or whatever your actual goal or purpose is. You have to see yourself in that, see yourself doing it, see yourself becoming that person. And that is going to increase your chances of not talking you out of this. You talk yourself out of everything. I mean, come on, we're human. We all do that. That's one of your biggest tasks, is to not talk yourself out of this. And you got to start with that. And then after that, you need to break it down. So we've got a 90-day window here. It's like, how the hell am I going to plan 90 days of meals? And actually, it's not as hard as you think. But the 90 days is going to help us keep going. So I want you to look at what's happening in the next, I think I meant to just write 3 or 4 days. But really, you could take a look at what's happening in the next 3 months. What's my schedule looking like? What's the kids' schedule looking like? Am I going to need to prep some things? Do I need to make the kids get their own lunches and snacks and be in charge now because things are different or whatever? What are your food needs? And make sure that you're taking into account your partner or other things that might come up. Nobody eats every night at the same time probably anymore. Like, that's an outdated kind of concept. So really take that into account when you're planning out your meals. This is not just, I got to swing by the store tonight. What should I pick up? A quick pizza or two? No, you got to go a lot bigger than that, so that you can make sure all this is healthy and easy to do. So I'm making a bigger plan is essentially a little bit less work in the long run if you do it right. So I like to dedicate certain days of the week for certain types of meals, so that I just know in my head what day it is. And then I go to that menu profile or whatever I've decided that Taco Tuesdays is happening, or whatever. And that takes half of your strategy off the plate. And make sure that you're mixing things up. So like I say, Monday's healthy. That probably means that it's less on carbs, less on dairy, healthy, lean meat or other type of protein. For us, it comes down to like, sweet potatoes, quinoa, and kale. And I'll talk more about food in a little bit here, but making sure that you're mixing it up so you're not having pasta 3 nights in a row or a lot of carb heavy things. You're making sure that you have a varied menu. You're not having roast beef every night or something like that. Please don't do that. But this right here takes so much of the thinking just kind of off your plate. And do you have to stick to this all the time? No, but it just gives you, like something to ground yourself with and some kind of structure on a weekly basis. We're not, if you think you have to come up with 90 meals, you're crazy. I would never recommend that. I'm going to show you how we're going to work this out here. So create a meal plan focusing on grains, greens, and proteins. So I just sort of outlined my Monday healthy grains, greens, and protein. So that's quinoa, kale, and lean chicken or roasted portobello mushrooms or something like that. Tuesday, grains, greens, and protein. The grain could be like whole grain tortillas or again, quinoa, but it could be Spanish rice. And then greens, you could have sauteed, mixed kale and spinach and chard or whatever you want thrown into that quesadilla. And your protein could be, the refried beans. And you keep on going. Am I getting my grains, greens, and protein? That's super essential. So if you're not already, kind of planning your plate around those 3 staple items, start doing it. And that also kind of helps you to know if you're having a balanced meal and kind of gives you a structure for, what you should be, kind of putting on your plate. And it doesn't have to be the same all the time. And there's tons of different types of grains, greens, beans, and other lean proteins out there. that are either vegetarian or not vegetarian. I mean, there's so many choices. So don't think you're just going to be eating rice forever. And by the way, there are a lot of different types of rice. So if you didn't know, go visit your bulk section and start experimenting a little bit. And it's okay to have like cereal or just eggs and toast or something for dinner, once in a while. That's fine. Sometimes you just got to get it on the table, right? And sometimes it is like, okay, I'm way behind here, so it's a quick meal. You don't have to produce like a major work of art every night. But if you're planning ahead, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, it's really not that hard to produce all of this. Believe me, I used to do it for a living for a really long time on a micro scale and on a macro scale. And so we haven't even gotten into the kitchen yet, and don't get me started on the food prep steps in the kitchen, but we're in the planning stages, right? We haven't really started. Our spring's a couple weeks away. We haven't really started the 90 days yet. But I want you to look at your schedule and prioritize the meal prep and the meal times and the shopping so that you can see how much time it takes you. It's not pop into the store every night is not a good use of your time. It's absolutely inefficient and a way to make you crazy. So I want you to be really efficient by looking at your week ahead and even stocking up on dry goods so that you're stocked up 2 to 3 weeks out is really ideal. I know that sometimes you can't put that much into your pantry or into, have that much to invest, but 2 to 3 weeks out, that means that you can kind of breathe for a little bit and you can keep that budget kind of happening once you see how you're saving money for reals by doing large scale meal planning. So really work in, when am I going to do my meal planning? What time of the week? How many hours does it take? How am I going to be more efficient at this? And then I also want you to use like a journal or a phone app to track your progress and just track things like the basics. I had a veggie burrito. Put that into your phone, but don't try to go and find like the specific brand unless it's really, right there for you and you really did eat that brand or something. A lot of times I'm making homemade stuff and I just put in the basics and I just do vegetable burrito with cheese. There's a lot of little basic options in your meal plans. You don't have to get super crazy about documenting every single thing you put in your mouth, but you want to be tracking things so that you actually see what you have been doing. Because so many of my clients, when I say, how's the food prep going? How's the meal times going? And they're like, oh, we're eating pretty good. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Specifically, how many, nights a week are you cooking now? And they're like, well, actually we had soccer and there's all these, then the excuses tumble out and we don't realize we're really, kind of duping ourselves like that until you start tracking it and writing it down and going, this does work or this doesn't work. When I was doing my menu review, the next one here, so I write out my menu. I just take a page of my notebook. Everything happens in this magic notebook here. And I just take a page of my notebook for the whole month and I write out all of it and using these structures and stuff like that. And as I'm looking each week, I'm like, okay, so Thursday nights, what I'm planning on Thursday nights isn't happening in our schedule. I need to plan something less complicated or a different type of meal because that's what we're wanting on that evening. I just noticed that I was checking off all the meals that I had. And then Thursday nights, it was like, we're doing something else on those nights. Something else is happening there. I don't know what. And I wouldn't be able to have caught that flaw in my plan, unless I had been tracking it and going, oh, okay, well, if those aren't getting made for some reason, then either I need to change, what I'm offering and downshift to charcuterie on Thursday nights, because that's what we're, have time for. Or, like you have to evaluate what's been going on. And then also, if you happen to like not eat something that you had planned, it's like, oh, I planned that veggie curry for up here, on the 3rd, but we didn't make it and I still have the stuff and now I'm running low on some, I can pop it in right here. and just keep going through and taking the meals you didn't make, but you planned, like, you had it on the menu, but then it never got bought or it never got made or something like that. And then you just put them down on week 3 or something. You don't have to come up with 90 different meals. That would be almost crazy making. I think you should take your 3 or 4 top in each of those categories. So like the categories I listed before, I got, Mexican, Italian, Asian, soup, pizza, and comfort food or healthy food or whatever, it all kind of boils out to. Take your top 3 Italian dishes and just make those on Italian night. So that's almost a month right there. That's 3 weeks. And if it's your top 3, if everybody loves spaghetti and meatballs, by the time spaghetti and meatballs night comes around again in week 4 or 6, everyone's so ready for it, So it might sound like you're just repeating yourself, but actually, if you just have a few flavor profiles and a few great recipes that you can do and that you've practiced or that are easy to execute or you can prep ahead, and then keep doing them. Just keep repeating and keep repeating. But every 90 days or so, or every season, we want to revamp a little or reconsider some of the types of foods we're putting on our plates. So it's natural to move from winter to spring from, more of the, wintry vegetables and stews and casseroles and things to more summery, lighter fare. I just started making smoothies again because it's starting to be that time in my where my body wants that, so you have to kind of evaluate and also go seasonally with what's available, but you don't have to come up with tons of new recipes all the time. You got your basics, grains, beans, and proteins, put that into different flavor profiles, and do it a couple, 2, 3 different ways, and you're done. You're good. And hopefully you've done it in a way that is healthy. And then get a buddy to witness your success. This is important on any level, no matter what you're doing to try to improve yourself. And I'm not saying that you should be posting every meal on social or something like that. If you want to, great, but that's not necessary. In fact, the less you say about your big plans or your goals or your transformation in progress, the better, because you don't want everybody else's opinions and energy about it. You just want to do your thing and track your progress and keep working towards your goal. And if you tell one trusted person, who they don't have to be doing the same thing as you or anything about diet or exercise, but if you just am like, can I check in with you on, Monday mornings and let you know what I've been doing or something? If you have to be accountable, if you have to report to somebody, you're more than likely going to actually do something, be more committed, right? If you have to say, well, I kind of screwed it up this week. But that also will help you keep going because you're never going to be perfect at this. No one's ever perfect at lifestyle shit. There's too much going on. There's too much happening in life. We can only just create these great plans and then work within them, right? Okay. Then when you get to that point, let's amp it up. Let's take it to the next level. So if we really want to, not just get a good meal plan going so our kitchen runs smoothly, so that our kids are fed, so that you're not frazzled at the end of the day wondering what's for dinner, honey. Everyone's favorite question. You need to really gear this plan towards your success. So look at your progress weekly then. And don't dwell on a bad day. Just look at what you did over the course of the week. Did you get your vegetable intake up over the course of the week? Did you eat, 3 different meals that you cooked yourself at home because you eat out all the time? Whatever it is, just look at your week by week kind of stats. But that's why it's important to keep stats, because you won't remember what you did last Sunday. There's just too much information flying around. And then tweak your diet in small increments. So you need to reduce the less nutritious foods little by little, and then increase nutrient dense foods slowly. If you're someone who's been eating, fast food for a long, long, long time every day for lunch, and all of a sudden you're going to start eating nothing but salad at lunch, your body's going to have a little bit of a problem with that. You need to, like, taper off the one and increase the other, and give your body and your cells a chance to adjust. Because your body will do the best with whatever you give it, but it needs time to adapt. And then plan a juicy reward for yourself. And maybe it's something like this lovely fruit custard thing that looks so yummy. And if I were in a coffee shop right now, I'd probably order one, because I haven't been to a coffee shop in a long time, at least on the inside. I'm slowly going through drive-throughs and stuff again, and kind of, getting back out there. But plan a juicy reward for yourself. Maybe that's not around food or beverage, although it's hard. And what's wrong with like a latte or something like that? But, and certainly, there's nothing wrong with any food. There should be no foods that are really off limits, unless they are artificial colors and a bunch of, stuff that's really on the bad list. But indulge once in a while, that's fine. But the daily, weekly, and monthly rewards are like small, medium, and large. A daily reward might just be, something that you can do quick in 5 minutes, and it's healthy, but you enjoy it and you take the time to kind of, do that special thing for yourself. A weekly reward is a little bit bigger. Maybe it's a Saturday night to yourself watching movies with no one else. And that sounds like a great Saturday night to me. And then a monthly goal, maybe that's where you take a whole day to yourself, or you go away for a mini break weekend or something like that. And actually every 90 days, I should have put 90-day rewards, because I would say you need to go on a little bit of a vacation or something, take a longer break every 90 days. Because we need that. We need that time to rejuvenate and to unplug a little bit and pivot and get back going, in the next phase, right? Because after this upcoming 90 days, there's another 90 days, and summertime, the 90 days of summertime, the menu plan, at least in our house, changes dramatically. So being aware of all of that and learning how to pull back a little and then move into the next phase, and pull back a little and move into the next phase. Your diet cannot be a set it and forget it. Everybody wants this answer of, okay, I'm going to just do that for the rest of my life. And it's like, no, you're probably not. just a guess. Okay. So for example, if you wanted to lose 10 pounds or maybe even 20 pounds and be able to walk 5 miles per day, because that will help you get to your summertime adventure goal, or whatever your purpose is for making some changes, there's the breakdown: 90, 60, 30, 15, and 7-day goals. So I'm kind of just focusing on calories right here, because we're talking about food. These are just guesstimates, and your body is not a robot. So you can't just plug numbers into it and expect your body is going to actually operate in that logical way that we think we know the body works. There's a lot more going on, and you can't just tweak food and expect major results. You have to tweak your food, your exercise, your sleep. You have to tweak how you're spending your energy emotionally and mentally. You have to tweak your thinking patterns, your mindset, and your goal setting. I mean, it's all part of a plan. So this is just one little sliver here. So working backwards, now I'm assuming that it's 3,500 calories to lose a pound. And if you could burn 3,000 calories per week, which actually isn't that hard, that's maybe 10,000 steps a day. You might have to work up to that. That's the 5 miles per day, right? That would get you somewhere around that. And then if you could decrease by the 3,500 calories per week, you could lose about 1.5 pounds. I'm not, the math right there, I might be trying to go for 2 pounds. And that's per week, 2 pounds per week, 90 days, you got 12 weeks. That's 24 pounds. That's a lot to lose in 90 days. And it would take a lot. It would take you drastically cutting calories based on what, a 2,000 calorie diet, give or take a couple of hundred. But you'd have to work on it a little bit at a time and then be really consistent for a long, long time in order to get your body to adjust to that. And then, that would be just part of your natural lifestyle, right? So all of this is determined on your individual body chemistry, your body type, how much muscle you have, how much fat you have, how much your resting metabolism is, calories in, calories out, what types of exercise, the intensity of exercise. I mean, there's so many variables and factors. This is by just a, a a washed out example here of what might happen. But the point here is that you got to start small and you've got to focus on what can I do this week? So this week, if I wanted to lose 1 pound, I would have to walk and burn about 1,500 calories, and I would have to lose about 300 calories a day to kind of lose that 1 pound ish. You can't just cut calories and expect to lose weight. It's probably not going to work long term. And then you do that for 7 days, and then, or for 2 weeks, 15 days, right? And then on your 15-day goal, you want to be, trying to lose 3 pounds a week, and you're going to increase your calorie reduction. And then also, if you're kind of planning along and going with increasing, walking that 5 miles a day, a lot of people might not be at 5 miles a day. So you'd have to chunk that down and work it up too. So they're kind of going hand in hand and helping each other. But again, it would take a lot of daily effort to be able to lose that weight. Absolutely. The weight loss industry wants you to think that if you do this one magic thing, everything will change. And then that's, going to be, then you'll be thin forever or whatever. And that's not even the point. The point is to have energy. The point is to take really great care of yourself. The point is to increase your activity level and get stronger and healthier and more flexible. That sounds like a great goal to me. Losing weight or something like that, sure, that might be important for your health and part of, what's going on, but that's not the only thing. And diet is not the only way. This is only one puzzle piece. So you can see how it might be, like that's kind of complicated, and it's even complicated for me. I probably didn't even explain that really correctly. But you see, kind of what we're dealing with here in the numbers game. So some things you could do to get to that decrease of 500 calories a day. When you do that day 1 through 15, cut out the soda, cut out some of the alcohol, increase your water. Just do that for 2 weeks. That would help a lot. Day 16 for 30, the next 2 weeks, continue doing that, and then add some more protein and greens. And just focus on some healthy protein and greens and just adding that in. And then day 31 to 45, another 2 weeks, keep decreasing the sugar wherever that might be, and really cut out the alcohol. Just give yourself a break with that. And then by day 46 to 60, you can add even more fiber, which means you increase your, maybe some superfoods or increase your vegetable intake, and then even more water. Get up to that half of your body weight in ounces per day. And then day 61 to 75, you need less refined carbs. So trying to cut out some of that, like the white bread or the white pasta for a while. I mean, none of this has to be permanent, but we want to get ourselves to a place where we're more on this track and less on the less healthy track, right? And then no sugar, like cut out sugar for a while. Just give yourself that break, and you'll once you start looking for sugar in your diet, it is everywhere. And you got to level that off, because it's like a little monster. The sugar monster is awful, and it's the basis of alcohol and carb addictions and sugar addictions. And you see where I'm going with that. So look at that. That's by day 75. We're starting to really get strict. It takes time. And then day 76 to 90, add in some more superfoods. Maybe that means like a green juice drink or some adaptogen and collagen supplements, or amp up your your vitamin supplement profile even more, whatever that superfoods kind of means to you or what direction you want to go with that. There's a lot of things out there that you could call a superfood. And actually, if we were to do just these things, even just more protein and greens, more fiber and more water, you would see a real difference in your energy level and in your cravings. Absolutely. And when your body is getting the nutrients that it needs, it stops looking for things like sugar. And, you can kind of turn off that impulse. It's really, it's, once you got that sugar, thing happening, it's really hard to change, but you can. Okay, so if you need to decrease by 500 calories a day, here's some things that you could do. You could reduce the size of your coffee beverage when you go through the drive-through. Or you could, I think I'm the only person who still orders like a straight up latte, no extra anything, no extra shot, no pumps, no nothing. I just want a latte. And sometimes I'll get a mocha if it's a special occasion, like around Christmas or something. But no, that's just not even part of what I'll allow into my daily routine, because I know that there are other things that I have harder time saying no to. So that one's easy for me. Swap out your bread for something more nutrient dense, or for something that's maybe less gluten, or like rice cakes, or, just don't eat bread or something. And there's nothing wrong with bread, but sometimes it can be the thing that we lean on too much and we don't eat enough of other things. And carbs, are that sugar thing again. And that's really, I mean, sugar is the biggest way to stress out your body. Having that sugar addiction, it's tough on you. It really is. Drop the sauces and spreads. I mean, can you skip the mayo and the barbecue sauce for a couple of months? Probably. And again, I love mayo and I love barbecue sauce, but if it's like you're eating way too much every meal and that probably means, if you've got really heavy sauces and spreads happening, that you're eating fast food or takeout. Because I don't know that I really make sauces and spreads for a lot of my dishes, unless I'm trying to emulate takeout. But those, the sauces and spread, that could be a couple hundred calories, depending on what you're doing. Cut your meat portions, palm of your hand, cut your meat portions, because there's a lot of calories in meat, and the way it's prepared could be have a lot of calories. And then also, you don't need as much meat as you think, especially if you're eating more beans and grains. Eat less carbs in general. Just, kind of steer yourself towards fresh fruits and vegetables and making your own things and prepping ahead, so that you're not, kind of turning to those heavy, denser meals. Skip one snack. Pretty easy to do, actually. Just, drink some more water, or redirect yourself. And skipping a snack, maybe you need that snack. Maybe snacks are your thing. But if your snack is something like Cinnabon, you see where you're striking out there, right? I want you to have less fruit and more veggies if you really want to cut calories. Now, this is getting really picky. Fruit's great. Eat it up. It's wonderful. But it does have more calories, sugar kind of thing happening than veggies, and less probably of the denser nutrients and soluble fiber. Veggies are a better choice than fruit. Fruit is a great choice. All right. So just keep amping up the veggies. Seriously. Drink less alcohol. So, I mean, alcohol, a glass of wine could be 120 to maybe even 150 calories. I haven't looked lately. So that's 3 or 4 glasses, and you're way over the 500 calories a day. 500 calories a day times 5 times 7 is 35. That's a pound. That's 1 pound. So if you chose 4 or 5, not even, I bet you if you chose 2 or 3 of these things to do every day, don't have to do all of it every day, you could really start cracking that down. And now, I'm not a big calorie counter or anything like that, but I do observe kind of what I'm eating, and I want to make sure that it's at least balanced and I'm not going way too far in any one direction. And I certainly don't want to restrict myself and really make anything off limits or restrict it for too long. Getting to a goal and saying, okay, well, I'm not going to drink or have sugar for, 6 weeks. That's actually probably not a bad goal. But I really don't want anybody to be like, that's off limits, never again. I will never touch this stuff. If you've been doing it every day for the last 20 years, that might be a little hard. So again, we're working towards things in small increments. Okay, ladies, that is what I have for you today. I'm so happy that you stopped in, say hello. I wish that we could be here in my office together, because it's so great when I get to invite you in and we get to talk about what's been going on with you. We get to have a cup of tea and do some groovy woo-woo stuff. And I just really always appreciate being able to learn more about what's going on with everyone and help you see it through, a wellness perspective, but not just a wellness perspective, but an energy healing perspective, honestly, and get you some deeper insights about what's going on with you and why you're doing the behaviors that you do, why you can't seem to get out of a rut, why you feel like, things aren't working out for you. It's wonderful. So send me a message. Let me know how you're doing. And I hope it is a fabulous Wellness Wednesday for you. Take some time to focus on you and enjoy. And I will see you right back here next time. Thanks for joining me.